All right, in the next few minutes, we'll finally wrap our heads around absolute value. So what does absolute value actually mean? If we think of this as a number line with zero here, what absolute value measures is the distance from zero. So absolute value says whether you go 5 to the right, or whether you go to -5, 5 to the left, it's all the same. The absolute value is the same. They're both 5 away from zero. So essentially, absolute value doesn't care about sign. It says whether you're positive or negative, we're going to call you positive. So what does that mean? We know that 6m, the absolute value of 6m equals 42. So whether 6m is a positive 42 or whether 6m is a negative 42, either one of them will equal an absolute value of 42. So we have to account for both. So what we do is set 6m equal to 42, but we also set 6m equal to -42 because both of them will result in an absolute value of 42. So after separating them out into our two equations, we can solve each of them separately. So m equals 7 on the left side, dividing by 6, dividing by 6. M equals -7 on the right side. So we can represent our answer with the squiggly parenthesis, and we can say 7 comma -7. The squiggly parenthesis indicates that it's not a coordinate pair, but rather two separate answers. Okay, we know that k minus 10, the absolute value of k minus 10 equals 3. So that means whether k minus 10 equals 3 or whether k minus 10 equals -3, either way, the absolute value is going to be 3. So once again, we solve the two separate equations. Here, adding 10 to both sides, we get k equals 13. Here, adding 10 to both sides, we get k equals 7. So what we realized is whether k equals 13 or whether k equals the 7, both of them will have an absolute value of 3. One last one here. Let's see another one here. Okay, in this example here, we have a number outside of the absolute value. An important rule is before you separate into two equations, you need to make sure that the absolute value is all by itself, nothing else on that side of the equation. So how can we do that? Well, this -3 is being multiplied by the absolute value of p. So we need to divide by the absolute or by -3. But we can't just do that to one side, we have to do it to both. So now we get the absolute value of p equals a +4. So whether p is +4 or -4, it will have an absolute value of 4. So we can say p equals 4 and -4 because either one of them will end up with an absolute value of 4.